I attended a hate rally, friends and enemies and assorted potted plants, and I took notes. A little bit of background, just so that we're all on the same page. During a local DSA meeting, we were all informed that there was going to be a, and I quote, press conference with a high school girl told to share the swim locker room with men, by which they mean trans women. We decided that somebody needed to go down there and see if they mentioned any legislation that we needed to oppose. Then I lost the not it game and went down there myself. That's not true. I volunteered. I'm that kind of asshole. So, what did these people have to say for themselves? Well, what they had to say was very little of substance. The primary claim comes from one A. Wheeler. I will call her A. Wheeler because she is still a minor, and I still have journalistic standards. A claims, and I need to stress I am not exaggerating here, A claims that she saw a trans woman in the women's locker room at the YMCA twice over the course of at least 4 months, and took needless, egregious offense to this. The family is quick to mention during the press conference that this trans woman did not threaten, did not intimidate, and did not even interact with A. Repeatedly, when pressed, the family, and especially the father Dan, state that, and I'm quoting him verbatim here, it's the fact that there's a biological male in the girls' locker room. A and her father Dan complained to the leadership of the YMCA about this, and they were told that the YMCA is explicitly a trans-inclusive space, and that they also had a non-gendered family changing room that A could change in if she was uncomfortable with that. A did not appreciate this, and proceeded to, with one of her classmates, put up anti-trans literature in the locker room and distribute anti-trans literature on the grounds of the YMCA. Now, here's where we hit a bit of a snafu. Some news outlets, including fascist ones, reported that A was kicked off of the swim team and banned from the Y. This claim is false. A clarified during the press conference, and other outlets clarified after the fact, that A left the swim team of her own accord. And the father of the family, Dan, clarified that he had personally prohibited the family from going to the Y after the Y refused to allow the leader of an anti-trans hate group to attend a meeting between him and the Y. So, to sum up for the people in the back who weren't paying attention, a teenager met a trans person in a woman's locker room, didn't like it, distributed anti-trans literature, was told to stop, and then refused to associate with the people who told her to stop. And somebody thought that this was worthy of a whole-ass press conference. There were other speakers at the event. A's sister, a college student named Caitlin, detailed her experiences competing with trans people in sports. So did another student who was friends with the family. Several members of the Illinois Freedom Caucus got up and bloviated about wokeism and cancel culture and how there are only two genders. Chris Miller, representative of the 110th District here in Illinois and husband to white supremacist Congresswoman Mary Miller, got up and said that the Illinois Freedom Caucus was going to do 3 things. Then he said that they were not going to be afraid, they were not going to be silenced, and that they were going to make sure people knew what was going on here. Which, none of those are legislative things. None of those are laws or bills. The whole thing ended up just being an hour of undignified whining and undisguised transphobia. And that's all the notes I took at the rally. There are a handful of other things that might be worth mentioning. For example, the only legislation that was mentioned throughout the entire press conference was the Women's Bill of Rights, which I think the kindest thing I can say about it is that it is transphobic garbage that has no place in American law. The insistence by the Wheeler family that A was not aggrieved by the person she encountered is too strong a word, that she was not aggrieved by the person that she saw, is suspicious in and of itself. There are people I know who are speculating that the Wheeler family might have walked back-asswards into a libel lawsuit and are trying to cover their tracks. The thing that most immediately interested me, the thing that's most worth noting, I think, is that the place was crawling with cops! Both sides of the street were blocked off. I had to sneak in from the other side of the road. My instinctive reaction is that the Illinois Freedom Caucus is responsible for the increased police presence because they're fascists. And you know, fascists want to seem big and tough. That being said, I have heard but have not been able to confirm that both A's swim coach and the staff at the Y had been receiving death threats throughout the day. That would also explain the increased police presence. It would also explain why people were being turned away from the rally. I'm sorry, I'm looking over what's left of my notes and they're informing me that this was a press conference, not a rally. But it sure felt like a rally. And I've been to press conferences. I've been kicked out of press conferences. Another reason people might have been turned away from the rally is because of the conditions of the rally. The people in charge decided to do this during the brightest, hottest part of the day in an open-air field right across the street from the YMCA. It was so hot and so bright, I got a sunburn for what I want to say is the 5th time in my entire life. And there's one last thing worth mentioning, I think. I mentioned that the rally was happening across the street from the YMCA. What I didn't mention is that the YMCA was closed down. There were some people with the DSA who said that they were going to be there to help with other stuff. One of them was turned away from the rally, and another one was thrown out for causing a ruckus, which means that when the rally was over, I was stuck on the south side of Springfield, 8 miles away from where I live, 4 miles away from where anyone I knew lived, during the brightest, hottest part of the day in an open-air field. I ended up grabbing someone's phone, borrowing it from them to call someone to come and pick me up, but the first place I went was down to the YMCA, because I figured they had internet I could use. There was a person on the other side of the door who gestured to me very clearly that I was not allowed inside. And to be clear, I'm not upset about that. I understand their position. The Wheeler family and the Illinois Freedom Caucus are not the only people who have insisted that they are going to spread malicious lies about the Y. There's a local church, the Destiny Church, who was promised to do the same thing. But the real thing, the bottom of the thing, is this. These things that do not even rise to the level of accusations, this belligerent whining that these Christian fascists demand that we take seriously, is not an accident. LGBTQ people are under attack. Right now. More than half of the country has banned or restricted trans healthcare or trans-affirming care. And Illinois is one of the only places in the country where trans people, where LGBTQ people have been assured that they will be protected and taken care of. And the Christian fascists hate that. The Christian fascists hate that because they literally want to put all of those people in death camps. The Y is being attacked. These trans-inclusive spaces and LGBTQ-inclusive spaces are being attacked because these Christian fascists want to make Illinois less safe. And that makes me mad. This state, this city, is my home too. The people that they're threatening are my friends. And if these Christian fascists want to pick a fight with my friends, then I'm gonna pick a fight with them. And if there is anyone from the city of Springfield watching this, if there is anyone here who is possessed of moral clarity and good conscience, I hope you'll be willing to fight too. Hey, Editing Ron here, giving you some post-editing Ron goodness. You know where the likes are, you know where the comments are, leave one or both if you want to. Sharing this video would also be much appreciated if you know somewhere where it may be well received. In this instance, it may be even more helpful than usual. The Wheeler family seem to be trying to position themselves as the next conservative darlings. An entire family of people, that is, 2 of them, who claim to have been injured by trans people. This video is intended to counter misinformation. The faster we can spread this video and similar videos, the faster we can correct that extant misinformation. There are a multitude of links and references in the video description if you need to find where something came from. Included in those links is a link to my Ko-fi account. If you found this video to be informative or entertaining and have the spare money to support it with a couple of dollars, that would be much appreciated. But only if you have the money to spare. No pressure. The next video I have planned is about Illinois' safe tea law, which just passed its final legal hurdles. Should be out next week, hopefully. Until then, go out, do something important, and take care of yourselves, alright?